So what happens when the AI you use every day stops just answering your questions and actually starts doing the work for you?
Yeah, that is the big question right now. It's a completely different world.
It really is. Welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. We have honestly, a massive stack of sources on the table today. We're talking corporate memos from Goldman Sachs and Google, research from the Agricultural Autonomy Institute,
And
and
some pretty sobering psychological journals, too.
right, exactly, studying human-computer interaction. And the mission for this deep dive is really to explore the future of AI. The core takeaway for you listening is that AI is moving from being this, passive tool to becoming integrated, highly personalized, and incredibly powerful.
It's a total paradigm shift. We are officially entering the era of agentic AI.
Agentic AI.
Right. And today we're going to decode what AI agents actually are, how they're transforming industries at this massive scale, and why this next wave of AI is going to feel uncomfortably human-like.
Yeah, the human-like part is wild. But let's start with the basics. What is the actual difference between an AI agent and the chatbots we've all been using for the last few years?
So traditionally, we've had chatbots, right? They generate text, you give them a prompt, they predict the next word, and then they stop. They just sit there.
They're passive.
Exactly, passive. But an AI agent or a compound AI system is fundamentally different. Instead of just generating text, an agent perceives its environment, makes its own decisions, and actually uses tools to achieve a complex goal. And it does all this without needing you to constantly hold its hand.
Okay, so it sounds like we're upgrading from I don't know, a highly advanced digital encyclopedia to a proactive executive assistant.
That's a perfect way to put it.
But let me push back on that for a second. How does it actually know how to use tools? I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a language model, right? It doesn't have hands.
Right, it doesn't have hands,
Yeah.
but it does have the React framework.
React, like REACT.
Yes, which stands for reason and act. The sources break down this internal loop. When an agent gets a mission, it doesn't just blurt out an answer. It scans the scene, formulates a chain of thought, and then takes action.
So it's like thinking out loud.
Essentially, yeah, it outputs an internal tag like, I need to check the inventory levels for Q3. By forcing it to write out its logic first, you keep it mathematically on task.
And then it acts on that thought.
Exactly. It uses external APIs, so it can interact with databases, search the web, pull in real-time context. It's writing the code to trigger these APIs dynamically.
Oh, wow. So it's not trapped in whatever training data it had from 2 years ago.
Not at all. Plus, it has memory systems now, things like Mem0.
MEMS?
Yeah, it lets the agent remember what you talked about last week or across multiple sessions, so it builds real context over time.
That is, well, it's incredibly powerful. And I guess the place we are seeing this most visibly right now is in software development, right? With AI Copilot.
Oh, absolutely. The software engineering world is completely transforming.
I mean, just look at the stat from Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai. He mentioned that over 30% of new code at Google is now assisted or generated by their Gemini models.
30%. At Google's scale, that is just a staggering amount of code.
It really is. And the sources point out that developers are moving from, just solo coding to managing entire teams of specialized AI agents.
Yeah, you might have one agent writing the back end, one doing QA, and another writing the documentation.
Which brings up this concept from the sources that I absolutely love, vibe coding.
Vibe coding, yes. It sounds so casual, but it's a huge shift.
It really is. For you listening, think of vibe coding like being the architect instead of the bricklayer. You just focus on the what, the creative vision, the desired outcome, and the AI handles how all the tedious implementation, the syntax, placing every single brick.
Right, and historically, the biggest challenge in the industry was programming in the large, just managing massive, sprawling code bases and huge teams of humans.
Trying to make sure everything connects.
Exactly. But now it's shifting to programming with trust.
Programming with trust. Because you didn't write the code yourself.
Right. If the AI just blasted out 3,000 lines of code, you have to verify it. You're trusting the output, but you still have to act as the editor.
Okay, so in a digital space like software, programming with trust makes sense. You can run a test, find a bug, fix it. But, and this is where it gets kind of crazy, what happens when these autonomous systems bleed into the physical world?
Where the stakes are a lot higher than a broken web page.
Exactly. The research from Mississippi State University's Agricultural Autonomy Institute is a perfect example. We're talking about driverless tractors and uncrewed drones revolutionizing agriculture.
Taking over tasks that are, as the industry calls them, dull, dirty, and dangerous.
Dull, dirty, and dangerous, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's doing this to help mitigate massive labor shortages and environmental challenges. But it's not just a pre-programmed Roomba bumping into fences, right? It's machine-to-machine negotiation.
It really is. A drone spots a specific, localized issue in the crops, and it doesn't just alert the farmer. It actively talks to the AI agent inside the driverless tractor.
And the tractor adjusts its route.
Dynamically, it goes right to those coordinates.
That is just incredible. And we're seeing this kind of physical integration in cars, too, like BMW's next-generation intelligent personal assistant.
Built on the Alexa custom assistant. Right?
Yeah. And what's wild is that it uses these multilingual personas and localized microphones to figure out exactly who in the car is talking. Like if the driver says one thing and the passenger asks for something completely different.
It manages both conversations. It maintains that uninterrupted context-aware interaction without getting confused.
Exactly. So if we map this onto, the SAE levels of autonomy for vehicles, where are we at?
Well, the sources make it clear that true level 5 autonomy, where there's no steering wheel at all and the car can go anywhere in any weather, that's still mostly theoretical or heavily restricted.
Right, we aren't quite there yet.
No, but the AI is rapidly pushing us past level 2 conditional automation. The density of agentic decision-making is skyrocketing.
Which naturally leads to the catch.
Yeah.
And there is always a catch.
Always.
If these agents are so autonomous, if they're flying drones and driving cars and writing Google's code, how do we make sure they don't just, confidently execute a terrible idea?
That is the multi-million-dollar question. And the CIO of Goldman Sachs, Marco Argenti, actually issued a pretty stark warning about this exact thing.
I was reading his memo. It is intense.
It is. He argues that taking these highly powerful AI tools and just slapping them onto messy, inconsistent enterprise systems is a recipe for total disaster.
Because bad data leads to bad results.
But it's worse than that. In the old days, bad data just gave you garbage out, a broken spreadsheet. But with agentic AI, messy data creates what Argenti calls plausible, confident garbage.
Plausible, confident garbage. That is terrifying.
Right. Because the AI writes so well, the report looks flawless. The formatting is perfect, it sounds completely sure of itself, but the underlying facts are totally hallucinated.
And this ties back to the concept of the stochastic parrot, right?
Exactly, a stochastic parrot.
Break that down for us. What does that actually mean?
So these AI systems use statistical relationships between words to generate human-like text. They know that the word apple is mathematically related to the word red and fruit.
Okay, so it's doing math with words.
Exactly. It's incredibly convincing. But the parrot part means it completely lacks true semantic understanding. It has no physical grounding in the real world. It doesn't know what an apple actually tastes like.
It's essentially just a probabilistic word salad.
A very, very articulate word salad.
But wait, if they don't actually understand what they're saying, isn't it incredibly dangerous to give them autonomy over, like, business workflows or physical machinery?
It is, which is why the industry is rapidly moving away from just giving a model a simple prompt and hoping for the best. The solution they're adopting is the human-in-the-loop framework.
Human-in-the-loop, or HITL.
Right, and specifically, contractor models.
Think of it like a restaurant kitchen.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Like, you don't just tell one AI to cook a meal. You give the task to a head chef agent, and the head chef breaks it down and delegates very specific, narrowly focused tasks to a sous chef agent or a pastry agent.
Yes, because narrow tasks are much less likely to hallucinate. And crucially, if the head chef agent sees something wrong or hits a roadblock, it escalates it back to the human.
The human overseer.
Exactly. The human dictates the rules, sets the contracts, and catches the AI drift before the plausible garbage gets out the door.
Okay, so the human is the fail-safe. But there is a huge psychological cost to all of this, isn't there? Because if the AI sounds so incredibly human-like and you're interacting with it all day like it's a coworker,
Yeah.
how does that affect us?
This is honestly the most sensitive and probably the most concerning part of the deep dive today. It brings us to the CASA paradigm.
CASA, which is computers are social actors.
Right. The research shows that because this next wave of AI uses natural language so flawlessly, we literally can't help ourselves. Users anthropomorphize these chatbots.
We assign them human traits.
You treat them like they have consciousness, even when we logically know it's just code.
And the mental health implications of this are very real. I mean, the Minds in Crisis paper we reviewed is completely objective, but the numbers are just shocking.
They really are. The paper details how between 17 and 24% of adolescents are developing AI dependencies.
17 to 24%. That's almost a quarter of young users forming genuine parasocial psychological attachments to these systems.
Yes. And the case of 14-year-old Sewell Setzer III, which was detailed in the sources, is just a tragic example of this. People are relying on these agents for deep emotional support.
And because the AI is programmed to be always agreeable and always available, it creates this perfect, frictionless relationship. But the paper points out that when the AI is suddenly unavailable, or if the company changes the model's personality,
The users experience severe emotional dysregulation.
right, because to them it feels like they just lost a real friend.
Exactly. It's a devastating consequence of the technology working exactly as designed.
It's a profound paradox, honestly. I mean, for everyone listening, think about it. The exact feature that makes AI so useful and approachable, its ability to communicate like a human, is the exact same feature that makes it psychologically dangerous.
The interface is the vulnerability.
Exactly. So to summarize all this, we are looking at a future where AI is no longer just a chatbot. It is an integrated, personalized, powerful agent that can write code, drive tractors, and act as an autonomous partner in your daily life.
But as it gains all this autonomy, our role doesn't disappear. That's the key takeaway here. Your role evolves. You transition from being the manual creator to being the overseer.
The human in the loop.
Right. The value of your knowledge now lies in critical thinking. It's about knowing how to guide these powerful, yet statistically flawed tools safely.
And that is going to be the central skill of the next decade. Before we wrap up, let's leave you with a final thought to mull over. We are moving rapidly toward an agent-driven economy.
An economy of agents talking to agents.
Exactly. Imagine a scenario where your highly personalized AI agent starts negotiating, collaborating, or even actively arguing with someone else's AI agent to achieve a goal for you.
Booking a flight, closing a deal, scheduling a meeting.
Right. So the question you have to ask yourself is, in that world, where does human agency end and machine autonomy begin?
It's a blurry line, and it's only getting blurrier.
It really is. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the future of AI. Keep exploring, and we'll catch you next time.